Marinero, the Sick Podcast. Do you wonder what a Stanley Cup champion looks like? Or even better yet, a two-time Stanley Cup champion? You're looking at him because joining me right now is the director of hockey ops of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know him as a former Montreal Canadian as well. Mathieu Darche, congratulations.
Well, thank you, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Tell me the truth. How many of your buddies text you and said, how could you beat the Montreal Canadiens? How could you do that? Did you get any of those?
No, I got actually no people. They send you congratulations, but I had some weird texts before the finals. People saying like, I usually I'd wish you good luck. Now I hope you lose, which to me was kind of weird. Like I have no problem with people cheering for the Habs. By all means, they're from Montreal. They always cheer for the Habs. They don't have to cheer for us, but you don't have to tell me I hope you fail because I'm not a fan. Like it's not a fan versus fan that you'll chirp. You're a Bucks fan that beat the Chiefs last year. You can chirp, but that's my livelihood. What happens on the ice, we're directly involved in it, and the results on the ice can directly involve my job. So of course, it was weird, but I guess when it comes to Montreal Canadiens, people don't always think straight. So, but now I can tell them that since the last time I saw them in person, I got 2 cups. So
yeah, you're right about that. And the Sick Podcast is brought to you by Essentia, the world's only natural memory foam mattress. Go to myessentia.com/sickpod and use code sickpod for a free pillow with your purchase. Essentia, beyond organic sleep. And that's what you guys did. You put all the angry fans or all the lively fans, you put them to sleep for a little bit. But I want to talk to you about your job. I want to talk to you about everything you've done there. But I want to get back to the Canadiens for a second. How surprised were you to see them in the final?
Well, at the beginning of the year, they had a great start. The additions they made, the Toffoli's, the Edmondson and Anderson and all that, were great additions. Obviously, they struggled at one point during the season, but did people think they were going to go by the Leafs? Probably not, but they ended up being better, and the run they had was unbelievable. They were clutch. Carey Price was Carey Price. Listen, I played 3 years with him. I know how good he can be. He's an outstanding goalie, but the guys, it's like, yeah, Carey was a big part of it, but they scored timely goals. Young guys came in like Caulfield, scored big goals, got involved in overtime. So they found a way. Like it's in the playoffs, it's a different beast. Like it's they play a great defensive game. We knew starting the finals that they would play a great defensive game, and you have to fight your way on the inside. And we had success. We were fortunate, but they made it hard. And people didn't think they'd beat Toronto. They beat Toronto. Then Winnipeg, whatever. It was a quick series. Vegas, everybody said, I know that. Even people said that the Stanley Cup final should have been Vegas, Colorado. Yeah. And they beat them, and they deserved to beat them. And then they got to us. And luckily for me, we stayed on top. And I think our guys played an outstanding final. We never gave much many scoring chances to Montreal most games. Whenever we had some breakdowns, Vasilevsky was great, and our big boys showed up, and our depth showed in the finals, and I can't complain. I'm on the right side of the finals.
With all due respect to the Canadiens, I think it was pretty obvious you guys were just a different class. You were a little bit too much to handle for the Canadiens, and the better team won. 2 years, 2 cups for you. You made a big career move where you were working in hockey a little bit through media, but you were working also for Delmar Cargo, a transport company, and they do a lot of things, and they have a real estate portfolio, and the list goes on. And you get a call. Tell me about how Mathieu Darche is the director of hockey operations with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I have a pretty good idea because you and I know each other a little bit, but tell us the whole story if you can.
Well, I met Julian Brisebois when I signed with Montreal. I was signed. Guy Boucher took over in Hamilton, and he said, Matt, a first-year pro. You brought Martin Raymond from McGill, too, first-year pro. And he goes, I need someone to be my veteran. And I had been in Tampa playing the year after I was in the minors. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm looking for contract-wise. And Julian was the GM of Hamilton, assistant GM in Montreal, and he signed me. And we're the same age. Actually, Julian likes to say I'm 2 months older than him. So he says I'm the old guy. I'm November 76. He's January 77. So he even said, you're 76, I'm 77. But we always stay friends. Over the years when I retired, every summer when we come back to Montreal, we go at least once to dinner with our wives. And, we always kept a real good relationship. We talk hockey. I like talking hockey. So he'd call me every now and then during the season. I'd call him. We'd talk hockey around the league. And once he took over for Steve Yzerman, it happened in September that year. So he did nothing all year, and honestly, we hadn't had the discussion. And even when we had dinner, we never had the discussion, hey, Julian, I'd like to work with you. I think he knew I'd like to work in hockey. And then that year, Tampa was playing Montreal. The year Tampa won 62 games.
Yeah.
In April in Montreal, and he texted me, like we text quite often, probably almost every week. And then he goes, hey, can you join me for breakfast on the Ritz where they stay? So I kind of had an idea that he probably wanted to talk to me about something like that. And I came in the morning, and he told me, listen, I took over for Steve. I didn't replace what I was doing. Would you be interested? And I need someone that moves to Tampa. I need someone with me because our other assistant GMs, they live a bit all over. So I went back. My wife, my kids were 16 and 14. That was the big decision. And I had a great job with Del Mar. They treated me like their son. It was awesome working with them.
Yeah.
They knew the only reason I would leave is if I get back in hockey. And then my wife is the one that actually, because that was nervous. The boys were 16 and 14, middle of high school. It's not, you have boys that are around the same age, Tony. It's not an easy time to move them and uproot them. And
they have friends.
My wife's like, I'm sorry?
They have friends that they don't want to leave.
Exactly, they have friends. My oldest was going in Secondaire 5, so he was graduating from high school, and they were playing hockey for their school. They loved it. And
did he have a girlfriend? Did he have a girlfriend?
No, he didn't have a girlfriend, so
that's why it happened. Or else he would have been in trouble.
Yeah. So my wife is the one at the end of the day, and she had a job working for Rio Tinto in Montreal, and she said, "Matt, you always wanted to do that. I'm ready to go. Let's do it."
Wow.
Nothing happens with luck in life. You have to go get if you want something. You have an opportunity. If you don't take it, it's a last, because I've been out of hockey for 5-6 years, stayed with RDS, so I stayed connected to the game. But if you don't do it now, odds are it might not happen. So we made the move, and I still remember the day we moved. My wife drove down with one of her friends because we couldn't put the dog on the plane. So I flew with my boys to get the moving truck in Tampa before. And I remember the boys are in a good mood at the airport. And once we get on the plane, as the plane's taking off, my youngest puts his hoodie on his head, and I start seeing tears. So you're like, it kills you to see that. But the boys adjusted unbelievably, and that's why last year when we won the cup, I was like, I'm so happy because it's for me, but it's for my family, my boys. They're huge hockey fans. They get to live it. And this year even more, they were there. My son had been in Montreal for a month because he's going to McGill next year. He was working in Montreal, but he flew back for Game 5. And to see them in the stands and be with them in the dressing room after, and to me was priceless. And
that's beautiful.
It all worked out.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to be the next one to cry, I think. He's Mathieu Darche, Director of Hockey Operations, Tampa Bay Lightning. He's wearing his Lightning polo, it looks like there. If you'd like to get a Lightning hoodie, I can tell you that sportbuffshop.com. For all of your officially licensed sports apparel and more, use code SICK15 for 15% off on all of their items, whether it's a Lightning hoodie or even an Italia hoodie, because we won Euro 2020. Matt, day to day, try to describe your job to me. What do you do? Paint a picture for me.
I just hang out. Listen, I spend more time with Julian and my wife probably. I support Julian in everything he does. A lot of the contract negotiations, the salary cap. I'm the one who kind of keeps our salary cap during the season, which there was a lot of gymnastics this year with the season and taxi squads and all that.
There was a lot of cap too.
There was a lot of cap, and a lot of teams have a lot of cap. And but it's not even on a daily basis for rosters, and it's been a crazy year. Even the people at Central Registry at the NHL, there's one day I think I called the Central Registry 5 times, and they told me, Matt, you're not even the one that called the most today.
Wow, yeah.
So everybody was in the same boat, and so cap, contract negotiation, managing our staff, hockey operations staff. We're about 60 people if you count the whole staff, from coaches. Wow. That doesn't include players, just coaches, scouts, analytics team, team services, and things like that. The contract negotiations, we analyze the game, our roster, trades, and all this. So anything that Julian does, I'm kind of his right hand person, and I support him in all of these roles. So it's there wasn't as much travel this year because usually I'll go see Syracuse play and I'll go see some of our prospects. But this year we couldn't really travel because we're inside our bubble in a way. But it's basically supporting Julian.
Yeah, you're a smart guy. It doesn't take you a long time to pick up things. But let me ask you, once you get hired by Julien Brisebois, he has you sitting down with some people, or are you shadowing him? Who's teaching you the job at this point?
It's honestly a lot of it. Like one of the reasons you hired me, I was part of the last labor negotiation. So CBA wise, I'm pretty obviously I had to. There's a few things I had to relook at.
Of course,
I knew like the essence of it, and honestly, like I spent a lot of time with Julian. Some stuff I knew, and honestly, like I've had meetings on my own, met this guy. I mean, at the end, hockey's hockey, and there's the business side of it that I've learned from him. But I knew a lot of it, but I couldn't ask for a better mentor, honestly. Like he's brought me in everything, every meeting he's in, anywhere, and it didn't take long that some meetings I go, he doesn't go. There's some contracts that we've done that I've done from start to finish with agents, and it's, building your network with the agents and the other. I talked to a lot of the other AGMs on the other teams, and it's as you go. But I've been very lucky. The trust he's had in me from the start. The responsibilities he's giving me, how he got me involved in every single contract negotiation decisions he makes. So I've been very fortunate.
I keep hearing that Julien Brisebois is another category. I'd love to be able to watch him in his day-to-day one day, but are there examples that you can give me of this guy is not just any GM? This guy is different. This guy's got something special.
Well, I've told people last year when I did interviews after the first cup, I think one of the big reasons we won the cup, Julian's an outstanding communicator with people. Like once the pandemic hit and everything got shut down, every single week, Julian called every single player, every coach, every staff, like everybody in hockey ops, players, coach, scouts, to keep them engaged and sending emails to players like, we're going to come back. And even when we didn't know, he wanted them to stay. All right, and it helped that all our players stayed in town because it was March and we're in Florida. So a lot of players weren't in a rush to go back home because the weather's nice. So our players stayed here communicating with people. Even the players mentioned it to me because, sometimes the players, they're comfortable with me because I was a former player and I've played against a few of them. So and a lot of them have mentioned it's unbelievable how Julian kept us abreast of what was going on. We'd have updates from the league. He'd send them to the players and like literally getting on the phone with all these people. To me, is communication skills within the organizations within the organization is outstanding. Like how he gets people involved, and he doesn't have the ego. I'm the GM. I'm the big boss. Yeah. He'll give his seat on the plane if he has to. Like the way he treats people is second to none.
I think the entire Lightning organization is second to none. I'm not just saying that. I mean, I've been talking about it for years and years and years. Al Murray, I'll bring up that name. I mean, to think that, drafting Stamkos at 1 and Hedman at 2, that's probably not that difficult. Having said that, drafting Kucherov where he was drafted, Braden Point where he was drafted, Palat where he was drafted, Cirelli where he was drafted, pardon me?
Alex Killorn
where he was drafted, free agents, that is, part of the organizational decisions, I guess, but free agents in Tyler Johnson and Yanni Gourde over the years. I mean, that organization has just drafted some amazing players, signed some amazing players. What can you tell me about Al Murray?
Al Murray is one of the best head scouts around the league. We've had success late, but Al Murray is the one. Like we have standards. Julian puts standards, and I can't go with all the details because I don't want to share our trade secret. But what we're looking for in players, Al understands that. He knows what we're looking for. Knows the type of players we want, the type of people. Because if there's players and people, so you want the player, but you want the person also. And then when they come in, where I think we do an outstanding job is player development, like led by Stacey Roos, who runs our player development. Once we draft the players, like we give them all the resources possible. We have skating coaches, skill coaches. We spend time with them when they're in junior, they're already drafted. We spend a lot of time with them. We go on the ice with them, development camp. We invest a lot in player development, and we're great at drafting Braden Point in the 3rd round, but part of it is Braden Point. The reason he got, which is you're gonna think it's weird. The reason Braden Point got drafted in the 3rd round because his skating was subpar.
Wow.
Nobody would say that now, but yes, we gave him the resources, but Braden deserves all the credit because he's the one that put the effort in.
Of course.
He'd go with our skating coach in the summer after we drafted him to skate with her in Toronto. she'd go to Calgary where he lives, and he worked at his game. Same thing with Tony Cirelli. He's always a decent skater. He became a better skater. So, yes, we give them the resources, but that's why when I tell you we want the right people, not only the right players, is we want people with growth mindset. That, you know, like, so when we're at the combine, when we're doing interviews, and we have our sports psychology that comes in, we're looking for a certain type of personality that wants to get better. Not, oh, I've always been good, it's going to be good, you know. So I think part of it, Al does a great job identifying those guys, but then they get into our, I don't want to say factory, but our process of how we get players to pro, and they get rewarded for it.
He is the director of hockey operations at Tampa Bay Lightning, Mathieu Darche, who probably finished partying a couple of days ago. Sophistication, a shout out to them. Event rentals, live music, DJs, sound systems, tents, chairs, tables, decor, lighting, photo booth, TV screens. You can call them in Montreal at 514-570-5770. If you're in Tampa, just get on a boat. It looks like a lot of fun. All right. Oh, yeah. How much can you tell us how much emphasis the Lightning put on and believe in analytics?
Well, we're one of the, we believe in it, but people have to be careful. It's not like when people talk analytics, they think that some teams that believe in analytics, that's all they believe at. To us, and Julian had the best line when he did an interview about it, said, I don't know anybody that wants to make a decision with less information than he could get.
Fantastic.
So analytics is another piece of information. It's not the end all. It's just another piece for the evaluation, for the decisions that we make. And trust me, we have a nice department with quite a few people, and we use it. What's happening with the season and the off season, we use it in many different aspects. But it's not like, oh, if analytics say this, it's only this. It's another evaluation tool, part of the whole decision process that we make. And I've never heard of someone that wants to make it. You tell someone, hey, make a decision, like Tony, make a decision on this, but we got this information we can give you, and you say, no, I don't want that information.
Of course not.
You'd be foolish.
Yeah.
So it's just another piece of information that's part of the decision process, and that's how we look at it.
Hey, I want to talk about the Lightning, but you know who else really impressed me in the playoffs? The Islanders. To think that they took you to Game 7, 1-0, they lose. Barry Trotz, Lou Lamoriello, and Jacques Lemaire behind them. That's quite the trident. It's a big brain trust. They have them playing the right way, huh?
Yeah, it's discipline. They're very disciplined. I talked with our players after, and I was like, Florida first round was a hell of a series. The first game we played against Florida, to me, was the most exciting games of the playoff. The exciting game of the playoff. Leads changing and lots of goals, and Kucherov comes back, scores 2 goals. But you could. It was a bit more offense, and you get scored a few goals. Well, you'll have opportunities, but against the Islanders, the guys were saying they're so disciplined is you can't let the game slip away because you're not getting it back. That's where they're so good. They have a good goalie. They defend extremely well.
Yeah.
And they, people think, they're a boring defensive team. Look at the stats in the playoffs. They were one of the top scoring teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. They don't beat themselves. They don't beat
exactly. Especially an offensive team like us. Sometimes you can say, if we don't play as well, if we have a bad start, they're up by 2 goals, we have the firepower to come back. But against the Islanders, it's very tough to do that because they play such a structured way. And Nassau was awesome to play in. I mean, talk about ruthless fans. Like it was something special. And we closed down Nassau, and I was happy. I even joked with Julian when I was in Montreal my first year in 2010. Julian was the AGM. We closed down the Mellon Arena by beating Pittsburgh. I said, I'd love to close down the Nassau now. So we were able to do it, but it was a great, great series, honestly. Like that overtime game 6. Even, I don't remember the play, Ryan McDonough, spinorama, 3 on net. Ryan Pulak stops it with a second left. I
saw that. That was unbelievable.
So it was a great series, too.
A shout out to Excellent Photos, centrally located close to downtown shopping and university, ships to all of Canada. Professional staff at the store and online to help you choose the gear you really need. ExcellentPhoto.ca. Speaking of photos, there's one that's going around. I make no big deal out about it because things happen. Can you tell us the picture of the cup that looks a little dented?
I know we heard, and even on my social media, I got people that are telling. I gave the reason why, and it's the 100% truth. People that think I'm trying to sugarcoat it. I was called a liar and all that because, of course, these people.
I believe you. You don't lie. Tell me.
We did the boat parade, which nobody did a Tom Brady tossing the cup to another boat. That didn't happen. beautiful day, but this is storm season in Florida. So at the end of the day, a lot of times it rains. So we had a park set up, stage, thousands and 10,000s of fans. We got off the boat. We got on buses to get to that place. We got off the boat. There's a pavilion right by the river where the park is. We had food, so we're in there for like 30 minutes before we go out. It starts pouring sideways. Lightning, because it's dangerous. They canceled the thing, but the guys, because there's so many fans that stood in the rain when it was raining sideways, they went out, and now you saw the videos. They're sliding on the stage, and they're celebrating. They brought the cup out, the Conn Smythe. On the way in, literally, and players' kids and staff kids, they were joking, like skating on the ceramic, because it was slippery. Right. It was wet.
Of course.
One guy came in, and it's not because he was drunk. Like, he just came in, went up the stairs, turned the corner, he slipped with the cup. When you hold the cup, you hold it from the bottom to the top, and he slipped and he banged the cup, and it happened. It's 100% accident. People that think we disrespected the cup first of all, if the cup could talk, it could write a book.
Oh, for sure.
And everything it's seen, and it's not the first time that it got bent, and it's unfortunate that it happened. But there was nobody drunk trying to toss the cup and trying to be funny. It's literally an accident. But people, I guess, they don't believe accidents happen now.
For whatever reason, some people don't want to give the Lightning the credit they deserve. I don't get it, because I think winning 2 years in a row is a dynasty. I love watching you guys play. I live with a young man who's a Lightning fan, by the way. My eldest, Anthony, has been cheering for the Lightning for a good 5 years. About 5 years ago, he told me that Nikita Kucherov is his favorite player in the league. And I looked at him and I said, there's Crosby, there's Ovechkin, there's Malkin, there's all these stars. And you're telling me Kucherov? And he said, yeah. 5 years later, he looks like a genius and I look like a dummy. But, the one thing that you hear from some people, and, in Montreal, we're sore losers. We don't like that. And Dougie Hamilton,
I'll call it passionate.
And Dougie Hamilton said it too when he said, we lost to a team $18 million over the cap. Can you tackle that?
Well, Dougie actually wasn't too, because he actually calls some of our players after saying, I didn't mean it disrespectful. I just meant that's how good they were, because they had a lot of players. But the 18 million, first of all, everybody plays by the same rules. And part of probably half of that 18 million is Marian Gaborik and Anders Nilsson that never set foot in Tampa. So I don't think they helped us win. The reason it worked for us and it fell on our lap is Nikita Kucherov in early December started having little hip issues. He came into Tampa. We tried some treatment to get it fixed. It didn't work. He went to see a specialist, which is not our doctor, specialist in New York. Said he needs surgery. He got surgery on December 29th, and it's a 5 to 6 month recovery. And 5 months is at the end of May. So we started the season thinking he's missing the first round of the playoffs. And David Pastrnak came back in 4.5 months for that same surgery. It's the fastest a hockey players came back. 4.5 months for Nikita Kucherov was May 11th or 12th, something like that. So, and the amount of work he put in to be able to come back, and everybody that had that surgery, they skated for 2 to 3 months before, because it's one thing to skate, it's one thing to compete in the NHL. Yeah, torn labrum in his hip, and that's why he was insulted. That people questioned that. First of all, there's no pro athlete that would accept to set out. Oh, yeah, please set out so we can do our thing. He'd be like,
of course not.
There's not a chance. And you think, oh yeah, we'll delay your surgery so we can do this. There's not a chance.
But Mathieu, to think that he was out for that long and played the way he played in the playoffs, that you could tell this guy's a different category.
Well, that's why people tell me, well, why was he so good right away in the playoffs? That's why those people are special players. That's why Tom Brady wins at 44 and 45 years old. They're special players. They work at their craft. There's not a day that goes by, game day, practice day, that Nikita Kucherov doesn't shoot 300 pucks in his garage. He's got the synthetic ice. He works at his game. He works so hard to come back. Were we fortunate? Of course we were. If it was a regular season, that's 6-7 months, we could not have done it. It was a 4-month season. That's the only reason we were able to do it. Most of the teams in the playoffs were actually, if you look at face values of their contract, they were all over the cap. So it just happened that our guy was a guy making $9.5 million. And we still have to qualify for the playoffs without our best player.
For sure. And you know what? Probably any other team in the league, take away their $10 million guy, they don't make the playoffs. So
it's to me, it's a non-issue. People don't understand the way it works, that. And listen, it is what it is, and we're not going to apologize for it. We're very did we get lucky? We always said it was bad luck, great timing.
Yeah, I got one more for you in 30 seconds. But first off, Cherry River hard seltzer, only 90 calories, 90 natural flavors, no preservatives. Now available in Quebec grocery stores and at the beer store. This is for you, Mathieu Darche. Congratulations to you and your teammates and the Tampa Bay Lightning, a great organization. 2 years, 2 cups. You obviously made a great career move. You've acquired a lot of experience. You're going to acquire even more. Does Mathieu Darche want to be a general manager in the National Hockey League one day?
I'm very happy where I am. I learned from the rest. If it happens, it'd be nice, but I'm not like every year. I'm not like, all right, I'm not looking if someone's going to lose their job and I hope I get this one. I'm just doing my things. If it happens, it happens. And I couldn't be in a better place to work and to learn. And you can see the palm trees in the back. It's not a bad place to live.
Beautiful.
Now it's hot at this time of year, but it's an awesome organization from the top, from the owner all the way down. And I'm extremely happy. And, we're going for 3 now. Like everything we're doing right now, that's why. And I'll do it again and stay longer with you after jump on the call.
No. Listen, all the best to you. And if it ever happens and you want to go for breakfast, I'll meet you at the Ritz.
Anytime.
Merci beaucoup. Take care. Congratulations. All the best to you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
What a good guy. Director of Hockey Operations of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Mathieu Darche. And now I'll try and make you a little bit of money.
It's time for Sick Picks. Brought to you by MyBookie.
All right, so I'm going to give you a sick pick right now. Place your bets on MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag/the sick podcast and use code SickPicks for a 50% deposit bonus. Bet, win, get paid. I'm looking at the NBA. I'm looking at Game 4. I'm looking at the Suns versus the Bucks, and the Suns are up 2-1. I expect the Bucks to win this one, to tie the series at 2, and I'm going to take a look at the over-under for the first half is at 108. Give me the under 108 in the first half. And once again, you can place your bets on MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag/the sick podcast. Special thanks to Mathieu Darche. I'm Marinero. It's the Sick Podcast, and you can listen to us via the iHeartRadio app and follow us on all social media platforms. Once again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning and Mathieu Darche, and hoping I can make you some money on Sick Picks with the under in the first half of the game between the Suns and the Bucks. Salute.